Hello everyone, this is Abdul Samad Shah from Spire Podcast. Welcome back to another episode. In today's episode, we have Philip Lee. I hope I am pronouncing the name correctly. He has
Yeah, you got
That's
it.
great. He has been working with over 150 brands who are doing D2C selling. He helped them to launch on Amazon and scale the brand on Amazon. I will not take too much time into the introduction, and I will invite Lee to introduce him and what he do. So thank you, Lee, first of all, joining this show. Please, can you please introduce yourself and what is your expertise?
Yeah, thanks for including me in this. Really appreciate it. So yeah, I've been in the Amazon space now for about 8 years. Started in 2016. I had my own Amazon store. I sold it in 2020, and then we now run one of the fastest growing Amazon agencies, Black Compass Digital. So what started as just us running Amazon PPC for our clients, that quickly grew into account management. And where we found the new opportunity is that we now help D2C e-commerce brands expand to Amazon. Because what we noticed is that every e-commerce brand knows how powerful Amazon is, but they don't really know how the platform operates, right? It's its own kind of closed black box, you can call it. So we come in, we handle all the red tapes, dodge all the landmines and headaches. We have an amazing launch. We turn that into a multi seven figure channel for them every single year. So we've now done it for over 180 brands in the space. And yeah, we don't really intend on stopping this. This is something that, in my opinion, every D2C ecom brand should capitalize on.
That's cool. That's cool. So, if we start from the very beginning, let's say there is a hypothetical brand, a D2C brand, who is doing big
hmm
outside Amazon. Now they want to launch their store on Amazon. How do you get started, or how the brand can start?
Yeah. So in terms of getting on Amazon, there's a lot of moving parts. It used to take 3 months for us to help get a brand onto Amazon, but as we started getting referred a lot more business, as more businesses were open to working with us, many brands came up and was like, "Hey, can you like cut this down faster? 3 months is a very long time." So we managed to shorten it to two
Hmm.
months. So how it works when it gets onto Amazon is, well, first and foremost, they have to make a new Amazon Seller Central account. Unfortunately, a lot of that is actually relied on the owner themselves. As you know, Amazon requires ID verifications now. You have to either upload, passport, driver's license, and obviously your business credentials. It wasn't like back in the days where it was pretty smooth and fast. Now Amazon is doing a lot more due
Hmm.
diligence, and it's really because they just want to make sure that you're not a bad actor, you're not, on their banned list, you can call it. And then finally, they do a video verification just to really confirm you are who you are. So once that's out of the way, we then basically go through an entire process. We help their product list on Amazon. We'll literally find out who their competitors are, right? Who the big players are and everything. And the biggest part in the first month is really getting their products
Mhm.
approval. So this is something I feel like people in the Amazon space don't talk enough about, is really getting your products approved. So for example, there's so many different categories, and every different category has different requirements to get selling on Amazon. I'll keep it general for the sake of time here, but generally anything that's ingestible, so what goes into the mouth, anything that's topical on the skin, usually requires certifications, right? So it's in the form of COAs, certificate of
Mhm.
analysis, your GMPs, good manufacturing practices, and your SDS safety data sheets, right? Obviously, if it's different products, Amazon could require different things like child toys, which needs lead test report. If you're selling batteries, then obviously you need battery test reports. So it really depends, but generally, Amazon requires these things, and you have to get it
Mhm.
approved. Sometimes a lot of brands don't know this. They create the listing, they create the product, and Amazon never asks for these things, and they think everything is okay. That's not true. The system is great, but it's not perfect on Amazon. So it misses these things, and you have to make sure that Amazon actually understands and actually has a log of these certifications. Otherwise, you launch, right? You spend all this time, And then all of a sudden, at 2 in the morning, you get an email from Seller Central that your listing has been
Hmm.
suspended because you failed to upload these information that you wouldn't have known otherwise. So that takes a tremendous amount of time and support to really get it done. Month two is kind of the fun part. We just kind of get all this administrative stuff out of the way. We help them with creative strategy. We write all their listing copy because, as you know, it's very SEO copy intensive, right? In terms of the writing
Mhm.
style, we'll help them with their supply chain, how much units to send in, building their shipping profile, and then finally, we'll build them a custom launch strategy. So every launch is different for every brand. It really depends on kind of what they have currently going on right now, what assets they have available, and then we just basically take those pieces and components together, we turn it into a custom strategy, and that's our intention, is really to have a strong launch right from the get-go. So that's kind of what it entails in a really condensed nutshell in this 2 month journey when we help brands get to Amazon.
Ah, that's cool. That's cool. So if we talk about, let's say, there is a brand who has like or 30 different listings, different products in one category or maybe in multiple categories. So if we talk about the product selection, do you list all of them? Do you launch all of the products, or do you have any criteria to pick specific products first and then we will go with the rest of them?
Yeah, great question. So if it's a brand with a lot of SKUs, from my experience and what we usually advise these brands is start with your best sellers
Hmm.
first. Okay, so don't put all 30 on there. I'm going to go on an assumption here that out of your 30, only a small amount of them are bringing in a big chunk of the sales, right? So I'm a big believer in the whole 80/20
Hmm.
rule. So probably 20% of your products are bringing in 80% or more of your income. Start with your best sellers first. If you're doing well on Shopify, good chance it's probably going to do well on Amazon because customers are already searching for
Hmm.
it. What a lot of brands don't know about this is that from our experience with just launching over 180 brands, we noticed that about 25 to 35% of website traffic from
Mhm.
Shopify bleeds over to Amazon, usually in the form of abandoned carts and abandoned checkouts. That's usually what causes them to leave the website and go search on Amazon. So start with your best sellers first because you're going to see the fastest momentum. And the second reason you may not want to list all your products on there right from the get-go is because Amazon has a hard limit on your inventory, right? Ever since COVID, they gave everyone a fixed amount, no different than new accounts. They always start with a fixed amount. So what you want to do is you want to actually sell more than what your current inventory is. So we call it sales velocity versus your inventory. If your sales velocity is outpacing your inventory, Amazon will actually award you more storage space, right? But if you list all your 30 SKUs at once, not all of them are going to sell as fast as your best sellers in the beginning, right? But you still need inventory dedicated to them.
Mhm.
So what happens is that Amazon might actually shrink your storage space because they see that your inventory levels are greater than your sales velocity. So unless you have some strategy, unless you say, hey, look, we're okay putting all 30 of our products onto Amazon, and we're okay with running a lot of them at a loss, even though they're not bestsellers. We have a very aggressive growth plan. Maybe we have investors who want to see aggressive growth on the timeline. That's a very different case scenario, right? We have a few of those, but not too common. So generally, I would say start with your best sellers first, and then over time, as you get the sales, you get more storage space, you get more goodwill from Amazon, then you can slowly and layer in and introduce your other SKUs to complement the main ones.
Hmm. That's great. That's great. And yeah, that's what I was thinking. That yeah, it's a proactive approach actually. So if a brand is starting on Amazon, it means they already have the inventory system or the warehousing system of Amazon probably. So what do you think? What do you recommend for brands who have set up of Amazon? Now they want to come to Amazon. Should they use FBA or FBM option? Should they use their own fulfillment option, or should they use the FBA option?
Yeah, so nine out of 10 times it's always
Mhm.
FBA Just because if you do FBM, it kills your conversion rates. You don't get prime shipping. Amazon generally will not is not inclined to show you as fast
Mhm.
organically compared to an FBA listing, right? I totally understand FBA listings. There's obviously the FBA fees involved, which kind of hurts the margin. But I usually recommend it's kind of almost like a necessary evil. You can almost look at it. Amazon handles all your storage, they handle the processing, shipping out to customers, returns, right? If Amazon loses your inventory, you can ask Amazon for reimbursement at MSRP price. So there's a lot of great things actually that comes with the FBA fees. Just think of it as just working with the best 3PL in the world when you have FBA, right? So we kind of notice a night and day difference when they want to do FBA versus FBM. There are a few categories where FBM does make sense. There's only a few of them actually. One of them is like mattress. Another one is like massive wall art, where it just doesn't make sense in terms of the fees to list it on Amazon. It's better if you just send it FBM yourself. And if you look at all the other competitors, they're doing the same. But as a general rule of thumb, you generally want to stick with FBA just because it gives you a lot better conversion rates. And there's obviously that huge trust factor that the customers see when they're on your listing.
Agree, exactly. So let's say the brand listed their product, their 20% product on Amazon. Now, what should be the launching strategy, or you can say, what are the stages involved to scale their brand on Amazon?
Yeah, so in terms of the launch strategy, this is often, in my opinion, it's the most important
Yeah.
part of getting a product on Amazon and seeing whether or not it's going to survive Amazon. A lot of brands, when they try to do it themselves or they work with other agencies, they usually don't talk a lot about the launch process. I don't know why, but they don't have a good launch. They're very low in the rankings, barely seeing any sales. And now it's basically you're now chasing your way up brutally by spending on ads, right? So the fastest way to launch on Amazon and get the most amount of sales, time and time again, from all the brands we've helped, is outside traffic. Outside traffic is right now by far the golden
Mhm.
metric. So what counts as outside traffic? It's basically anyone from maybe an email, an SMS list coming onto your Amazon listing. Maybe it's someone from a creator driving traffic from TikTok or Instagram, right? Or maybe you're just running Facebook ads to the Amazon listing. Those all count as outside traffic. Amazon can see the APIs of where the customers are coming from as well as the pixels, so they know where the touch point were when they landed on the website, right? So these all consider as outside traffic. And also what I mentioned earlier, the 25 to 35% Shopify traffic bleed, how they leave your website and they go to Amazon to search for you, that also counts as outside traffic, right? They are literally coming from your website to Amazon. So I believe it was in 2022, Amazon made an official announcement saying that if a customer comes from outside and they don't
Mhm.
purchase, you still get a positive SEO juice, ranking juice boost. Before, what it was that if they didn't purchase and they bounced, Amazon would actually dink your listing. Right now, they completely changed it. Now it's like, okay, if they don't buy from you, it's okay. We'll still give you a positive ranking boost. Not as much as if they obviously
Yeah.
purchased, but we'll still give you something. And the reason's very simple. The reason's simple. It's that they may not leave Amazon just yet. They might still shop around. They might still check out what's in their basket. So you're still bringing clients to Amazon, and they're rewarding it. This is the fastest way I've ever seen any brands rank high and fast on Amazon. Is there needs to be outside traffic sources.
Cool. Yeah. So, like, why do you recommend to bring the outside traffic to your Amazon listing? Instead, like, you already have established presence out of Amazon. So, like, you can execute those orders and you may have higher margins. You recommend this just to establish your brand on Amazon?
Yeah, so when you launch on Amazon, obviously there's the honeymoon period, which is 60 unofficial days where you have to get as many sales as possible on Amazon, right? So we usually like to layer that in with outside traffic. And from what we've seen, generally email and SMS works the fastest, right? Because it's usually customers that have already visited, if not purchased on your website. And if they've engaged with you somehow and you have their email, it's a very high probability that they will actually listen to what you have to say. They will reach out and go to your Amazon listing. Now, obviously, it's a little different case by case with clients. Some of them say, "Hey, look, we don't want to touch our core customers on our email and SMS. We don't want to cannibalize
Mhm.
our list, right? We're already making a lot of money from them on Shopify. I don't want to bring them over to Amazon." And that's totally okay. We usually recommend segmenting your list out to 30 and 60 days of customers who haven't purchased on Amazon, right? So if they didn't buy, on your website. So if they haven't bought on your website, then you can easily send another email out asking if they want to purchase it on Amazon instead. That's a totally viable option, and it doesn't really cannibalize your core customer list, right? So that is usually something we've seen that's really fast. Creators work extremely well. Right now, a lot of brands are exploring TikTok Shop. As you've heard about it, it's kind of making crazy waves. There's a lot of brands that are just doing phenomenal numbers through that channel. So TikTok Shop is also a fantastic way, not because you're driving traffic to Amazon, but because we noticed there's about a 15 to 20% traffic bleed from TikTok to Amazon as well. So as you scale TikTok Shop or TikTok in general, you will see your sales on Amazon rise. So this is kind of the beauty of outside traffic, and what I need to basically scream from the top of the mountain here for all the brands to know is that it is a perfect synergy for Amazon, Shopify, and TikTok, right? If you're on Amazon and you scale Shopify, your Amazon grows because your traffic bleed also increases. More customers go to Amazon. Same with TikTok. As you scale with TikTok, your Amazon will also grow because more customers, more impressions, more traffic bleed, right? So just this alone, this is literally probably the easiest way of how you can grow your Amazon is just get on the platform, right? Get on the platform, send email and SMS in the beginning, in that 60-day period. We usually recommend a 5 to 7 day email sequence. Same with the SMS. And then what happens afterwards is you just literally let the traffic bleed rise from there on out. It's up to you if you want to keep it that simple. Some of our clients also have a huge list of creators and
Mm.
ambassadors on payroll. So what they do is they basically send the products out to them, they go make the content, and then for a limited time they'll post that link either in their bio. And what we'll do is we'll actually make something called a brand referral bonus link,
Mhm.
right? So this is an attributed link. For those who don't know, this is a specific link we can get for your product on Amazon, and when someone clicks on it and buys your product, the owner gets 10% cash back from Amazon, the brand seller, I should say. So you literally give this to each of your creators here, and as a result, you get 10% cash back. And it's up to you if you want to split the percentage of the cash back to the creators or not. Right? This is a really good incentive because otherwise they're going to go with Amazon
Yeah.
affiliates, and that's 1 to 3% commission. The commission's usually not so good, but now you have 10% to work with, and you can give them 7% and you pocket 3%, or you can give them nothing at all. It's up to you. But this is a really cool trick and hack that we're currently doing right now for our clients.
That's amazing. That's amazing. While driving external traffic to the Amazon listing, do you recommend the Buy with Prime program, like the program where you can attach the Buy with Prime button on your website with the product, so that it is more trustable to people? So, do you recommend that, and have you used it?
So we have some clients that use it, but this is not something we actively recommend. And the reason why is that there are still some limitations with the buy with Prime. Like you check, it's very hard to set up upsells post purchase, right? Because everything is essentially connecting to the Amazon network and getting fulfilled from the Amazon
Mhm.
network, right? We do have some clients that use it, and they said that they have seen some results on it, usually through the form of testing it with like landing pages and one-off PDPs. but we generally don't recommend it just because a lot of brands, in order for them to be profitable and sustainable on Shopify when they're running a lot of ads, is really the upsells, the downsells, and the post-purchase sells,
Mhm.
right? That's usually how they increase their AOVs. That's how they make more margins, turn a buck at the end of the day. So Buy with Prime has that limitations. Unfortunately, it's not there yet. I do have high hopes for it though, because I believe a couple of months ago they did announce that they are working closer with Shopify to just install a lot more features, make it more robust so that it can compete on that level. So I can't imagine that, within less than under 2 years it's probably going to be a lot more common thing that everyone will see. I have no problem at all with brands taking advantage of Amazon's 3PL to fulfill their Shopify orders. That's totally fine. We have clients that do that. You're literally leveraging Amazon's 3PL fees, right? So, with Buyer Prime, I would say right now it's currently not where it is, but it needs a little more time. Probably in under 2 years, I think it's definitely a worthy contender.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. When you attach the button, it means that all of the traffic coming to your website will go to the Prime and go to the Amazon unless they wish to buy directly from you. But like in that case,
Mhm.
you don't have the control. So yeah, you are right, and I agree with this. Regarding the external traffic, what do you think about the Pinterest traffic? Uh, Pinterest gives very good amount of organic traffic, but I didn't use it for Amazon purpose. Have you used it, and how was your experience?
We haven't used Pinterest at all. I'll be very honest with you. Generally, in the D2C
Hmm.
space, Pinterest ads is not talked about a lot. Just because I'm sure there's some pockets of where it can work, but for the most part, from just talking with a lot of my fellow agency owners, marketers, that usually Pinterest ad is just not performing. It's just not kind of where it is. It's really more of a discovery platform. You're going there to get ideas, inspiration. It's very rare to see a product there and then go buy it from there. I do believe Pinterest might have some more potential, but we haven't really experienced it, and also a big part of that is because we just haven't really heard any big waves coming from Pinterest.
Hmm. Yeah. To be honest, I have the same experience as yours. I already asked a lot of agency owners, and they mentioned the same thing that yeah, Pinterest traffic was not that much effective for the Amazon because
Yeah.
they are more like come on Pinterest for discovery and to take ideas, etc. So the purchase intent is missing there. So now we are talking about the scaling of brand on Amazon. Once you listed the product driving the external traffic, apart from that, what are the other activities which you conduct to scale the brand? Like, do you consider the Amazon advertising, or do you consider the giveaways, or what are your strategies generally?
Yeah, so a couple of things that we focus on a lot when we help new products launch on Amazon is the first is
Mhm.
reviews. That's always the biggest one. So Vine review, non-negotiable in my opinion. I know they just released a bunch of different tiers pricing for Vine, but if you have the money, always go for the full $200 for 30 reviews. There's a strategy that we employ called the infinite Vine review strategy, and what it entails is you basically make a bunch of variation listings of your main
Mhm.
product. You add one simple item, just any item that you can easily source from China. You add that item in different colors, and then you basically enroll every single one of them into Vine. And then what happens is that once they're all in Vine, you basically merge it back to the parent listing and then you close off all the variations. So, for example, if you make 10 additional listings, and you enroll each and every single one of them into the Vine program, what happens is that you are now getting an additional 30 times 10 listings, 300
Mhm.
reviews. So once all those reviews comes in, you basically merge it all back to the parent listing, and then you close those listings off for good. So now all of a sudden, you now have 300 reviews in your listing. And the best part about this is that it's completely white hat. It's ethical. We're not using any shady tactics. We're not using any third party tool. all we're doing is just using the Vine program and just making listings. That's it.
Cool.
You
Yeah.
know, so yeah, so that's one of our strategies. And then obviously, yeah, you know, advertising, super key. You know, always Amazon's a pay to play platform, so you always have to run Amazon ads in the beginning.
Cool. So for the reviews part, when you merge the listings and then you remove the or close the variation so that the reviews are merged to the parent one. So as soon as you remove the variation, does the reviews associated with that particular variation not go, or do they still there?
No, they still appear, right? Because in order for this to work, the listing has to be
Hmm.
active, right? So when you add it in, obviously it's not like an overnight thing where you all 30 reviews will appear immediately. It will take probably a couple of days for the reviews to come in, but once it's all merged and you see the numbers there, then you close off the listing, the reviews will still appear there. It's not like the reviews are going to disappear.
Cool, cool. Okay, so once the brand is launched and it's been 6 months, or let's say it's 7 months, and the brand has now 100 or 200 plus reviews, what are the ways to scale the brand to push up the revenues more and to gain the organic ranks?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways we usually advise brands. The first one is pretty obvious, but a lot of brands don't really do this or they don't have the capabilities. We usually mention this as early as
Mhm.
possible, and that's making
Mm.
variations of your best-selling products, right? The way I see it is that if you have a product that's selling well right now, but you only have
Mhm.
one, if a customer comes onto your listing, you're effectively telling them you are either buying my product or you're
Mm.
not, right? You either like it or you
Yeah.
don't. And if they don't like it, they're leaving the listing, and chances are they probably won't come back, right? They probably will be looking at other options, other competitors. Customers know they are spoiled for choice. So when you make a listing convert, the two fundamentals is you want to reduce friction and you want to buy time. So reducing friction just means that you just want to make sure that the information that's presented on the listing is very easy to understand. And buying time is you just want to make sure that they stay on the listing for as long as possible. If they stay on the listing for a longer, then the chances of them converting is a lot higher, right? So one way you can get around this is just start launching variations. If you sell like a body wash, start launching different scents, different sizes. Maybe you add a travel pack, right? Maybe you add a, you know, a plus size for a family pack, right? Ask your customers what kind of scents they have. If you have it on your website, please, like, this should be something that you should already be enacting for your listing, right? This is one of the fastest ways to literally grow your revenue is just have variations. Okay. Now, the second one is, in our opinion, still working well is Amazon advertising. And then when you get to that stage, this is now where you can start experiencing with banner ads, video ads. I'm a huge, huge, huge believer in Amazon video ads, just because you know on Amazon where everything is usually static and everything's all images. Now all of a sudden you have a video in there, right? If you can get the video and the messaging right, it's very engaging and it's very much possible to get, you know, like a 4 or 5 ROAS minimum when you have an amazing video creative. And then once you have a winning creative, it's no different from Facebook. You literally scale it up, you start making iterations, and you start making variations of it from there on out.
Hmm. Cool, cool. And when do you recommend to launch more products on the same account or in the same brand? Like we started with the top 20% of the total products, and now the 80% are still there. So how do you strategize? Like, for example, let's say after each month we add two products, or how does it work for you?
Yeah, so it's very different for every client's timeline. You know, some of them want to add them as fast as
Mhm.
possible. So we'll literally maybe in 4 3 4 months we'll get the ball rolling, right? And then some clients they don't have a lot of products, so their best ones are already on Amazon. It's selling. There's good momentum behind it. So we'll probably launch those ones like in around month 6 or 7. That's when we'll start talking to them and getting this set up, right? So it really depends on what the client's side strategy is, right? We can honestly launch their other products whenever
Yeah.
we want. all it takes is really just after that honeymoon phase, like 2-3 months afterwards, when there's good sales momentum, Amazon can always increase the warehouse space. One more thing too is that something I'm very proud of at our agency is we also have North American account reps on standby for Amazon. So we're one of the few agencies that got invited to this program. So our account reps that we deal with directly, they're all from the Seattle headquarters, from Amazon. So if we need to, if they want to bring on more products and there's not enough warehouse space, I can easily just message my rep and I can just ask them to give that an additional allotment space. But really, to answer your question, it really depends on what the client schedule is. Like, do they want it faster or do they not really care? They just want more sales in general from the main products, right? But I would say generally around 8 months and under, that's when we start layering in the other variations.
Cool, cool. So, uh, for a brand who already launched on Amazon, now what you recommend? Do you recommend to grow the brand to other marketplaces like Canada, UK, and Europe, or do you recommend to invest in the existing marketplace and launch more products?
So generally, we say stick to US first, unless they give us an example. So, for example, we have a client we're bringing on board right now. They're selling fitness equipment in that category
Mm.
space. We're launching them in the US, but literally, the client messaged me and said, "Hey, I don't know if you know this, but Germany's actually our second biggest market, right? So we would like to actually launch there sooner than
Mm.
later, right?" I don't know these things until the client tells me, of course, these information. Once again, it's very different from account to account. So for that brand, we are helping them launch to Germany probably with 1 month later. So it's a very quick transition in the process, just because they said that Germany's a big market, so obviously we want to capitalize that for them. But otherwise, if we don't really hear anything, we would generally say stick to US first, be there for at least like minimum 8 months, 9 months, right? Let your brand grow on Amazon US first. And then from there on out, you can decide where you want to branch off to. Generally, it's Canada and UK that are the most common marketplaces we want to start testing and growing it to. Another great way is that we can just ask our clients, like, hey, on your Shopify sales right now, besides US, which other countries do you have the most sales, right? Sometimes they'll say, oh yeah, Canada's a very is a distant, but it's our second biggest marketplace. Perfect. Then we'll literally move to Canada, right? Because you have the sales data to already back up that. So therefore, we should make the move to Canada. We'll plan ahead.
Hmm. Cool, cool. That's great. Yeah. Um, in the end, do you have any suggestion or advices for D2C brands who are thinking actually to launch their products on Amazon, but they are like afraid of Amazon fees and the dependency on platform?
Man, this is a question I'm always fighting with brands on. Everyone has their own
Yeah,
stigma. Oh, I hate Bezos. Oh, FBA fees are so expensive. Oh, Amazon's such a cheap marketplace.
yeah, we,
I can't
yeah.
bring my products
We
on
also
there.
hear this all the
I
time,
will
and that's
tell,
why I asked the question.
yeah, so yeah, it's literally everyone has their reason of why they don't want to be on
Yeah.
Amazon. I can't fault them. They just don't know enough about the platform, right? So here's what I say to literally every brand, okay? Is that there are literally brands on there that are selling like $100 plus items
Mhm.
that are making millions of dollars every single month because they made the transition to Amazon. I'll give you two examples right now, the ones that I always
Mhm.
use. The first one is Rich Wallet, right? It's this very compact, modern wallet. It's literally, if you go on Amazon, they sell it for 95 to $100. They're currently doing 7 million a month on
Mm.
Amazon right now, right? And then obviously they're doing more on Shopify. $100 is a very high ticket item if you think about it on Amazon. And then another example is Hexclad. They sell these pots and pans, very premium. Their sets are anywhere from
Mm.
$200 to $600, right? And they're literally a multi seven figure channel on Amazon. So imagine that their FBA fees are definitely high in that sense, but they are on there. They're making good money. It's possible to happen, right? Why do they go on there? Because their customers are searching for them already on there. So I usually tell brands this if they're hesitant is that if you're not on Amazon, you're playing catch up. Because what happens is that if you're not on Amazon and customers try to find you on Amazon, but you're not
mm,
there, Amazon will quickly learn who you are, what your keywords are. They'll do send the bot to crawl your website. They're like, oh, okay, got it. This, this brand that we've never seen before. Turns out they sell, deodorant for women, right? Or whatever it is. So the next time a customer comes onto Amazon, all your competitors will show up
mm,
instead. So you're literally feeding easy sales to your competitors. Think of Amazon as one of the most perfect retargeting systems ever, right? Something better than retargeting ads, something even better than retargeting
exactly.
emails. This is something that Amazon can provide. So, what I mean is that if you are not on Amazon, if you are delaying this for whatever reason, you are always playing catch up. You are never ahead, right? And God forbid you start having knockoffs, you start having competitors who start mimicking your products. You're not on Amazon. You have no say or what to control, right? We're right now talking with this phone case
Mm,
brand, right? They're sending cease and desist letters every week because so many people are selling fake products or unauthorized reselling their products on
yeah.
Amazon. And I said, and I'm just telling them right now, I'm fighting with these guys like, hey, if you get on Amazon, this is so easy. You can literally kick them off because you are now on Amazon. You have a presence. But because you're
Mm,
not, you have to resort to sending cease and desist. And it's up to them whether or not they buy your bluff,
exactly.
right? Because you're not on Amazon. So by being on Amazon, you're always in a better spot. You're growing omni-channel. One thing I want to quickly touch upon is that big box retailers like Walmart, Target, right? If you ever want your brand to enter into those space, they will see if you are on Amazon because it's part of their due diligence
Yeah.
process. They know on Shopify everything can be faked. Reviews, testimonials, products, everything can be faked if you know how to write Shopify JSON code or Hydrogen in the React framework. But on Amazon, it's a lot harder. You don't own the platform. Sure, there's things you can manipulate, but it's very hard to entirely manipulate the situation. So they just want to see: are you on Amazon? Are you omni-channel? Right? This is what we're actually doing now for a lot of our clients. We're helping them get into big box retail as well. And what we found is that they will always look at Amazon to see if you have a presence. So by being on Amazon, you're recapturing your sales from the lost traffic from Shopify.
Mm,
You are getting access to a lot more new customers who have never heard of your brand, which you can now take their information and drive it back to Shopify if you want. You are essentially opening up another channel. Amazon is usually the most profitable channel or a close second to your main channel. It's very safe, it's very predictable in terms of the growth. And then finally, you are really opening up to an omni-channel approach. Big box retailers, whoever, are now going to discover your brands, and that unlocks further opportunities. So, in my opinion, obviously, I'm in Amazon for 8 years. I'm super
mhm,
biased, but just from seeing, just working with so many brands, advising them over the years, it's a net positive just to be on
exactly.
Amazon. I don't care what you're selling. $5 item, $10 item, $100 item. There's always a spot for you in Amazon, and the positives outweigh the negatives.
Exactly. Yeah, I also try to explain and already explained to dozens of my clients that you are like talking about the Amazon fees and other fees which may cost you, but in reality you may, if we sum up all the cost associated to your current business, like the shipping cost, the packaging and the warehousing, etc., it may goes up, and the advertising cost, you are establishing customers, you are trying to find the advertising or email marketing, but Amazon has already established buyers, and they already know about the buyer,
Yep.
and you are getting the most orders or the traffic from the with the most buyer intent, like there you can see the keywords. So if you sum up the cost of existing business, then I think it's more or less similar to the Amazon all costs, etc. So yeah.
Yeah, there's always costs associated with everything. If you are just on Shopify, what happens is like, yeah, you're probably using a
Yeah,
3PL. You're paying those
exactly.
rates. They're nowhere near as good as Amazon's. Let's be honest here. Amazon has the best carrier rates, the best warehouse rates because of who
Yeah,
they are. You're spending money. You're probably spending a lot of money on Facebook ads, Google ads, TikTok ads, right? You'll still need to spend out on Amazon. So it's like, in my opinion, is that I totally agree with you. It's like it's literally just a different bucket, but it's the same thing at the end of the day. It's just that now, if you're on Amazon, you now unlock a lot more opportunities. And if you ever, one more final thing too, I'll
hmm,
mention this is that if you ever want to sell your business, if you are on Amazon and Shopify, you will get a higher multiple because they now know that you are in more places. You're not reliant on just Facebook ads or Google ads, right? So you look a lot more attractive. You look a lot more stable as a business to be sold.
exactly, exactly. I'm just sharing my screen quickly. There is a company, very well-known company with the name of Conversion Heuristic. Sorry, MacLab, Conversion Heuristic. I hope my screen is
Hmm.
sharing.
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
it.
So they created this formula: C is equal to 4m plus 3v plus 2 into I minus f minus 2a. So it may look scientific formula, but it's a marketing formula. You can see conversion is equal to motivation. Motivation should be 4 times, like the buyer intent, whether you want to purchase. So on Amazon, the buyer has already decided that I want to purchase this particular thing. Then there is a value proposition. There, the your product should have 3 times the value. And then 2 I minus f, it means the psychological resistance. Like when someone come to your website, they may be thinking, they may be looking at your website that, okay, are they trustable, do they have verified association with credit card companies, etc. So there is a lot of psychological factors which works at the moment. And then at the last minus 2a, it's called anxiety. So like you have to remove the anxiety of the buyer. So it's basically a formula for an e-commerce website. Whenever you want to set it up, you have to make sure you have all these three things and you fulfill this formula. When you come to on Amazon, most of the things are fulfilled by itself, like the motivation, buyer motivation, the value proposition,
Hmm.
your product offer. It depends on you. And then uh, the fear of say buyer, like buyer is like Amazon is very trustable to all the buyers. And then the anxiety, so buyer don't have issue buying from Amazon. So I think when you are
Yeah.
setting your own business outside Amazon, you have to work on all of these things. And you have to make sure that all of the components in the formula is fulfilled. But on Amazon, these things are already fulfilled.
Yeah, totally agree with you. I mean, Amazon, more and more individuals, buyers, and shoppers are going to Amazon now to look at it as social proof, right?
Exactly.
I mean, I've done it before myself. I shop on Amazon. I know there are many people who go to Amazon, right? They'll want to read the reviews, like, oh, well, I came across a site, don't know too much about
Yeah.
them for the first time. Let me check. Oh, they're on Amazon. Great. Let me see the reviews. Okay, pretty good reviews. Oh, guess what? They have Prime shipping and the price is same. Well, you know what? I'll buy it here. I'm already on Amazon. I already know I have an amazing, 2-day shipping, right? 30-day return policy, no questions asked, right? I might as well just buy it here, right? Like that's exactly what Amazon is, the power of Amazon. I mean, Amazon literally accounts for half of all of e-commerce sales in the US. Like that is just so crazy and unfathomable. More than 160 million American households have Prime membership,
Hmm.
right? Many people are going on Amazon now, no different than going to Costco and just buying toothpaste, toilet paper, right? Just their necessities, daily necessities, right? Amazon is now part of their everyday life. So, it's not far out to say that they won't go on Amazon to discover new products, right? I go on Amazon, I usually know what I want to buy, but also if there's other products I'm discovering as well, I welcome it just because I have that layer of protection and trust with Amazon. So I totally agree. That's a really good formula. You got to send that to me
Sure,
after.
sure. I will send you the link. Exactly. So thank you so much, Philip, for joining the call and sharing your insights. Uh, that was really nice and really helpful insights. At the end, do you have any closing comment for the D2C brands who want to establish their brand on Amazon?
Yeah, I mean, just final thoughts on all this, right? It's 2024, right? We're not in, the early days where you can still run Shopify, Facebook ads, and call it a day. It's always changing, it's always transforming. Things are becoming more omni-channel now, right? So obviously, getting on Amazon is essentially part of the brand's playbook. So, that's what we do. If you ever want to find us, right, it's blackcompass.digital, www.blackcompass.digital. That's literally our website, or you can email me at phil, at blackcompass.digital. You can also find me on, LinkedIn, Twitter as well. I'm always on there, just giving away free advice and Amazon.
That's great. That's great. I will mention links in the comment video. Sorry, in the description of this video. You guys can check out and connect with Philip.
Awesome. Perfect. Thanks for having me on again. This was
Thank you
fun.
so much. Thank you so much. Have a good day ahead. Bye bye.